I'm Chucky, and I'm your friend to the end. I hate kids.
Where are we going?
Home.
Where's home?
I have no idea.
Heidi fucking ho. Ah, ah, ah.
Hello, everyone. Welcome. Chucky Talks. We're back. Hi, Christine.
Hello, Alex.
This is episode 5. We are past the halfway point, basically. We're halfway through the season.
Yeah.
4 episodes of the show in the can, 4 to go. And
Yeah. It's been a lot of work.
It has been a lot of work. It's been fun. It's been a lot of work. And we're on, I would love the first half of this season for sure. I can say I love the second half a bit more. It does just seem to get progressively better and better, this show. And now some of our old friends will be showing up, and it's going to be really fun to dissect some of those scenes and speak with some of them. We rolled these out kind of timed out the way that we think it should go, but we do some of the interviews in advance, and we got to sit down with the lovely Jennifer Tilly last week.
She was super generous with her time too. She gave us forever. So
she did. It was a thrill to talk to her, honestly. I mean, she's just first of all, she's so sweet and she's so lovely, and we know that, and she's so brilliant and all that. But in research for this and trying to know what to talk about and different ideas, I watched a bunch of her interviews. Man, she had some of the most amazing interviews in the past.
Yeah, she's a dynamic guest.
Really is. You brought that Johnny Carson interview to my attention, and I watched it, and I've watched it like twice since. Like, it was so great.
She did a Letterman too that I watched. It was really funny, and they all seem like at a loss as to what to do. Like they're out of control. They've lost control of their own show, and then she's running away with it. It's awesome.
Yeah, it is. She definitely takes center stage and takes charge.
Yes. And she did it with us too.
She did it with us too. She did.
Both of us had a ton of questions we never got to because
we got to none of them.
You ask her one question, she can talk for 45 minutes, and all of it's fucking hilarious.
But funny enough, she answered some of them. Like, she goes to so many different places in her answers that, like, she kind of gets to a lot of the places I go anyway. Right, but she's a pro beyond belief. But it's just so fun. We're really excited about it, and we're looking forward to bringing that to you. We had a great chat with Tony Gardner. That's coming up, and the second half of Brad's interview, and that leaves us with Don Mancini, which hopefully we will get to do that soon. Got a ton of questions.
He might be a unicorn this season. He may not show up. I have a feeling we're not going to get him.
I think we will. It's gonna be tough, but I think we will.
Right.
An hour of his time, we'll pull it off. Hopefully.
So you had a big week ahead. What are you doing?
I have a big week indeed. I've been very aware of fate lately, and I won't go too far down that conversation, but I will say this. We all have our heroes in life, and my 2 biggest artists that I love for 20 years and 25 years, Jack White and Trent Reznor. By happenstance, they're both following each other kind of on tour at separate shows. And I'm going to see Jack tomorrow in Atlanta. And then I'm seeing Trent, 9 Inch Nails, in Raleigh the day after. Then it's my birthday. And then I'm seeing Jack White in Nashville. And then 9 Inch Nails in Tennessee also. All within 5 days of each other. Unbelievable.
Is it quite a birthday present for you?
I could not have asked for a better one, honestly. It could not have worked out more perfectly. And then right after those 5 days, I'm getting on a plane and traveling to work on something really, really fun. So yeah, it's pretty incredible. Yeah, it is absolutely a birthday week that I will never forget. I know that already. So I'm really excited.
I just did a birthday weekend on this end of the country. A very good friend of mine, his birthday was Sunday, and Bianca McNaughton and Robert McNaughton, friends of mine, were in town for the weekend too. So I had a house full of people. We had a garden caviar party on Saturday in the daytime.
Yeah.
And then Sunday they were packing up to go to this place in Joshua Tree called Hicksville, which is a collection of a bunch of different trailer park trailers. And as they were packing on Sunday morning, I'm like, I want to fucking go. I think can I come? And I could have shared a room with a girl, and I was going to if they didn't have a trailer for me. They didn't. They were sold out. But we were 5 adults showing up with 5 dogs, and that was 1 dog more than they would allow. So I had to call up and beg them to let us break the dog rule. And then when I got there, there had been a last minute cancellation, and I got the Pee Wee Herman trailer, and Paul's a friend of mine. And so I'm sitting in Paul's trailer, and Pee Wee Herman movies playing the whole time, and there's Pee Wee dolls in the room. Really a great place, really fucking fun. And
you say trailer parks, but they're also like themed, right? Wasn't it each had a theme?
Each trail has a theme. So if you go to Hicksville.com or whatever, Google it. There's a Western, and there's music inside. There's like one of them has a vinyl record player. It's all 50s, and it's got a vinyl record player. There's one based on the Cramps. It's an old band of mine, favorite band of mine in high school, called the Lux, and they've got it. It's all black and red leather or vinyl inside, and a little jukebox. And mine was Pee Wee, and they have an arcade. They have a giant ball pit for adults to be in a giant ball pit.
Wow.
A pool, a hot tub on a roof. You can see beautiful sunsets. There's a giant shuffleboard. There's shooting, there's archery and shooting. I think we can shoot cans and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, really great. And
from the pictures you sent, it looked like it had a real kind of southwestern vibe, like New Mexico kind of vibe is what I got from it. Not at all.
No, each trailer, one trailer is called the Fifi, and it's like a Hollywood glamour trailer, and another one is called the Intergalactic, and it's all alien themed. And there's a fake boat one. It's great. I can't recommend it highly enough. And the fact that it's all fenced in too. So the 5 dogs were just on this property running loose, going crazy, having a grand old time.
You brought your dogs?
I did.
Oh yeah, okay, and they had 3. You brought
my boys downstairs have 1, and then two girls came and they each had 1. So
okay, cool.
Anyway, it's awesome, and I need this week to recover.
Yeah.
While you're having fun, I'm going to be recovering.
Well, recover. Yeah. I can't believe the week ahead of me. It's unbelievable. Here he is, right here. This I've seen 9 Inch Nails 70 times in concert.
You crazy.
I know, this will be 71 and 72. And I've seen Jack White. I saw the White Stripes 3 times. And then I think I saw Jack's solo band like 3 times. I saw the Raconteurs once. So yeah, I'm really excited. His new record came out, Fear the Dawn. It's really good. His music's gotten more and more complex over the years. And talk about faithfulness. He has a track on his new record called Heidi Ho.
Wow.
Which is kind of fun.
And you're in the mood of seeing signs and everything, but they really are ganging up on you. The signs are, you're neck deep in signs.
I feel like I'm in that movie Signs. They're following me everywhere. I mean, look, just the show alone, season 1 of this show. I mean, I've talked about this with you privately, but it freaks me out still to this day that the show takes place in Hackensack, which is where I grew up. Andy was last seen headed to Teterboro Airport, which is where my father lives in real life, on Vincent Place, by the way, in Teterboro. Jim Morrison's one of my absolute heroes my whole life, and my first line in the show is this the Morrison residence?
I don't know.
It's kind of just endless how much I feel like I'm in the right place at the right time in my life these days. It's wild.
That's a great feeling.
It is.
So today, are we presenting? We're presenting.
Yeah, our interview with the ladies, mother and daughter, Barbara Alyn Woods, Alyvia Alyn. We interviewed them 2 weeks ago. Speaking about heroes of mine, I was out in Salt Lake City to see Princess Goes to the Butterfly Museum, which is Michael C. Hall's band. I've been a huge admirer of his for 20 years, since David Fisher and 6 Feet Under. I'm a massive fan of Dexter. I've read all the books. And then he comes out with this band that is just right up my alley in every way, compared to Nine Inch Nails sometimes, even though different vibe, but electronic music. I read an article that mentioned Nine Inch Nails by name and compare, like, wild. But yeah, it was really an incredible thing. I mean, you know, Michael's character on that show is a character with you know, a dark passenger, emotional disconnection, PTSD, can't really relate to the real world like other people, feels like totally disconnected. And that's really kind of defines Andy's character as well.
Yeah.
And you know, talk about fate. I was an admirer of his for so many years, and I love that show Dexter. And I have this incredible opportunity to return to this character. And just as I did, he returned to his character of Dexter, and I was playing Andy Barclay on Tuesday nights. Well, he was back playing Dexter Morgan on Sunday nights. And very few things in my life made me feel more proud than that fact.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was great. So I went out to Salt Lake City and was very welcomed by them to kind of hang out with them and enjoy the show. And I made a great edit of the entire concert using all fan footage from the people that were there and put a bunch of filters on it and stuff. It's up on my YouTube page. But that was incredible. But while we were there is when we interviewed Barbara and Allie. So I'm in a hotel room during this interview.
And their mother and daughter in real life and on the show.
They are. And they both have done incredible work. I mean, gotten a lot of accolades. Allie's gotten all kinds of nominations and awards for her long-standing role on Young and the Restless, right? Yeah, they're both very sweet and very kind and very, very talented. Lexy is like one of my favorite characters, if not my favorite character. I think my favorite character on the show. I say that in the interview coming up, but it's true. She's so funny. As we do these breakdowns, Christine and I are laughing about her lines every week.
She's got a lot of good
She's
stuff.
got a lot of great ones.
She does.
So yeah, it was a real thrill to talk to them, and I'm really happy that we were able to. And I hope you enjoyed the interview. Here it is. So we are here with our next guest. We've been very much looking forward to chatting with them. Big, huge part of the show this season. They happen to be mother and daughter, so we get to talk to them together. But Barbara Alyn Woods and Alyvia Alyn.
And here they come. Hey.
Hi.
Hey, good to see you guys.
Long time no see.
Long.
So it's so nice to finally talk to you guys. It's been a while. Haven't seen you since we left the set, since I left the set, since that last day.
Last night. Yeah.
That last night was everybody's last night. I was happy to be there for the last night. It was a sad night. I see you make your sad face there because it was sad.
We
It was
didn't
emotional.
we didn't know at that point if we were coming back.
Yeah,
either.
I was crying so hard. I think it made it even harder that everybody was there. All of the boys were there. Everybody was there, and everybody. I just remember being okay. And then they finally wrapped me, and everybody came in for a huge group hug, and I just broke down. I was bawling my eyes out. And then they were like, okay, we're gonna do some behind the scenes stuff right now. So now and all the behind the scenes stuff from that night, I'm like, have like a red puffy face.
Aww.
It's my group.
Well, it was a 6-month thing. I mean, it was a long thing. It was half of that year for you. I mean, new friends, obviously, people that you get really close with in that time.
Lifetime friends, definitely.
Of course.
Sure.
Of course. So since I haven't seen you since then, I didn't really get to experience the viewing of this show with you guys. I know that you certainly made the most of it out there.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So, well, Jennifer had a really, really nice premiere party
Soho House.
At Soho House, which was amazing. And then it was so nice to see the whole group that we thought, well, let's just continue, you know, and I offered up our house.
We do that at our house every week. And then it started getting super uncomfortable at our house because there were so many people.
And then we got all these Chucky blankets and we laid them on the floor because we didn't have enough chairs for everybody. And our TV is okay, you know, it's a nice size, but it's not, you know, screening a movie size. And Don would come, he'd start bringing his director, whoever was directing, like, oh, okay, and cooking for everybody. So we just, every week, the venue got a little bit bigger. And then we found this winery, what was it?
It was like it was a winery.
A place that makes their own beer. And they said, yeah, we'll host it. And then anyway,
that was full. And then we went to somebody else, our friend's Johnny's house to do
all
the
these
last
fans
screening.
kept jumping on board. And, you know, our family has done a lot of different shows and movies. And from time to time, and, you know, you say, hey, we're going to be in this movie, watch us. We didn't have to do that this time. So many of Allie's friends, Natalie's friends, my other daughter, Emily's friends, everybody was just jumping on board and begging to come to these viewing parties. And
that's interesting to hear because you know, I've been acting for a million years myself, and I don't even watch my own things for the most part. I watched every Chucky, and I watched them again a second time every night. But there's a lot of work I've done that I've never seen, and a lot of work I've done, even more of my work that none of my friends have seen. It's something that just like people don't necessarily hunt down, and I'm guilty of it too. I've got friends that are on TV shows and I don't watch the show.
Of course,
I'm a bad person, but I love that Chucky. That was a different experience than that everybody was so enthusiastic about it that they wanted to. That's amazing to hear.
Addicted. I'm saying like obsessed, addicted, and to the point where, you know, I don't want to say no to somebody if they're saying, you know, can we get on the guest list? And by the end, I think we had 150 people
at Johnny's house,
at Johnny Ryan's house, a good friend of ours who's a producer who's obsessed with Don. So he was begging to throw the final party. He really, really wanted to. This wasn't even a favor. This was something he wanted to do.
And he went all out. I remember, Christine, we had like the Chucky water bottles. We had the Chucky chess sets, the blankets, the doll.
Chucky paper cups, Chucky everything.
It was like a Chucky souvenir shop.
Yeah. He got a new TV because he wanted the kind of TV where he could have, you know, it looks like a framed photo, like it looks like a picture, like an piece of art. So he could put Chucky on it before the show started. It was insane.
It was great.
All the more reason why I need to spend more time out in California.
You need to come out here.
I will.
Sure.
You cannot miss all of the time.
So that's where we ended up, but let's take it back to the beginning because I do have a lot of questions for you guys.
Oh, wow.
First of all, I mean, thank you for being so fantastic on this show because you both were just so fantastic. And as two of us who have this has been in our lives for so long, it's just feels great to know that everyone was so committed to doing a great job because you really did. So I'm really curious, first of all, how did it come about to get this audition, and how did it come about that mother and daughter were cast as mother and daughter? Besides, you know, being great in your audition, but I'm curious, like, did you audition? Did one of you get the audition first? Like, how did that happen?
Yeah, well, first thing that happened was Dawn and I had a meeting about the script. I read the script. We had a meeting. We talked about it on Zoom. It was deep in quarantine. We had a Zoom, and I mean, I read the script and I was just instantly in love with it. I mean, I went into my mom's room after reading it and I was like, Mom, I have to do this. This is so good. And then I talked to Dawn, and then I just even more felt like I had to do it. I was like, oh my gosh, this is gonna be so amazing. And
he was so passionate
and so excited. And you don't always see showrunners or creators these days that are that passionate or excited about the projects that they're doing, because I think that they get so wrapped up in the work aspect of it and lose the creative side of it. Dawn never lost that. And I mean, still every week of filming, he was so unbelievably busy, would still have a Zoom meeting with the kids almost every week just to ask us and make sure we're okay and everything's okay, and checking in
Yeah.
and call us all the time and ask us about our opinions on things, and was so collaborative. So it was really just the best decision ever. And then as soon as my deal closed, we were just on the phone with Don one day, and he started talking about my mom. And we were like, yeah, like my mom. And he was like, Barbara, you're an actress. And then it kind of just all worked out, because I mean, she comes with me everywhere I go. Because
I think he knew some of my work from other shows, and I think he just sort of put two and two together. It made sense.
Yeah.
And I can't lie, when I was reading the script, I was thinking, shoot, this would be really fun. But, you know, I never want to cross the line. I never, you know, bring that up when I'm reading scripts for my daughters. I have 3 daughters who act. And so I really never bring that up. I know my place, but, you know, happily it occurred to him as well. So he just sort of made the offer, and I said, let me think about it. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
We're so happy that you made that decision.
Yeah. It was
And then
so
it was
much
just
fun.
so, I mean, we had never really worked together before, so we weren't really sure how it was going to go, but it was the best time. And I think that the second we got on set, it didn't really feel like we were like related. We weren't sure how it was going to be, like if we got on set, if it was going to be like kind of funny or awkward, but it just felt like she was my castmate the second we got on set.
We always run lines at home, no matter what we're working on. And we had a hard time running these lines because we were actually playing these characters. And it was funny because for the first time ever, we weren't looking at each other when we were running lines. We'd run lines walking around, never really looking at each other, because these 2 characters are so horrible to each other.
Yeah.
So every time we looked at each other, we would start laughing. Like, we just couldn't do it off camera.
And the second we got on set, it just clicked, and we were just like in the zone.
Yeah, it was really great.
I love that. And such a, I mean, really gratifying for you, Barbara, I imagine, to actually have a reason to be there beyond just being a guardian, you know, and you were there for so long to have an actual awesome job on top of it. I mean, what a lottery win. It's amazing.
Yeah. I mean, talk about killing 2 birds, you know, people always say this, they always ask me this, because I've been on set a lot with all 3 girls, and they say, you know, how do you do that? You know, when you do it yourself, isn't it frustrating? And I get so much out of it's so fulfilling to watch these girls excel at something that is so passionate, that I feel so passionate about. So it has never been frustrating to be on set and not be, you know, actually acting, but to be able to do both was pretty unbelievable. And I thanked Don so many times.
Yeah.
It was a dream. It was really, really great. And we're about to do it again. So
Ally, I want to ask you about playing a character in middle school that's so sort of adult in behavior, not just the language, but the drugs and alcohol and sort of aggressive sexuality almost for little kids. I was kind of scandalized. I'm like, is this how kids behave? Is it?
Oh, I mean, you wouldn't believe some of the things that that my friends or kids that I know get into these days. I feel like everything is just so open and easy to access in these days, with just a click of a button and you can get something delivered to your door. But yeah, I mean, playing that character was really fun because I've never really played just like a normal middle school kid, or, you know, a bully or a mean girl. So it was something new, and I always love doing new things and experiencing new roles and pushing the envelope. And yeah, I mean, it was just really fun. I mean, I got to learn how to smoke weed. The prop guys had to show me how to smoke weed. They're like, are you sure you haven't done this before? I was like, I promise you I haven't. I'm sorry, I'm lame. But no, yeah, it was really fun. It was really interesting, and hoping that, you know, next season I can get even more interesting things to do.
I have to interject.
That makes.
Go ahead, Barbara.
No, go ahead. I mean,
I was just gonna say that makes me laugh. That they taught you how to smoke weed. knowing that
always learn.
in 1990, when I was 8 years old, they taught me how to smoke a cigarette. So Chucky corrupts. one way or
Yes.
another.
I mean, it was so funny. I mean, we were in on set. They're like, okay, you hold it like this. You gotta make it look like you inhale it, but don't. It was like all.
I was 37 when I learned how to smoke a cigarette on set. I didn't even know how to do it. I had never done it. But I have a funny story to interject about the prop people on Chucky. Because I knew she was going to be, smoking weed. And so I asked the prop people what they were going to use for it. Because there are different sort of herbal mixtures, and some are, tougher on the eyes or tougher on the mouth or lungs, whatever, even though it's herbal and all natural, it's still, hard to smoke.
Still smoking. Yeah.
I asked our prop guy about it, and he said, oh, great. I'm so glad you brought this up, and I'll put the little substance together and we'll do a trial run to see if she's okay with it. I said, yeah, that's exactly what I want. So one day on set, he was looking for me, and he had this mixture rolled up like in a joint. And then he had that wrapped in like paper towel, and then he put it in this little paper bag, and it was just a single joint. And he was kind of sneaking it to me because he wasn't sure, like we were doing this sort of between the two of us. He was like, let's just try this to make sure she's okay, and then we'll get it approved. So he was sneaking me this joint in the offset, so you're like, oh my God, if somebody, and then I opened the paper bag and I'm like, oh my God, this guy just
thinks that
sneaked
it's a
me
real
a joint on set. If
Yeah.
anyone saw this happening to the mom, it was so funny.
That's how they would give it to you. Yeah.
Yeah.
This was, as you know, this is very much a family affair for a lot of us in one way or another. Obviously, the obvious one of Fiona and Brad. But Christine and I have been like brother and sister for quite a while. So I think that's just an extra really cool thing that you being mother and daughter were involved in this also, but you also have history with other people there. Like you were comfortable for the fact that, I mean, Zach for a long time, right?
Yeah, I mean, Zach and I have known each other since we were 6 years old on set. I mean, we got married when we were 6 years old. He's been like one of my closest friends for the longest time. And
I think he kissed you too.
Okay, well,
I think he did. I think it was my first kisses.
Oh, sure, yes. But yeah, I mean, Zach and I kind of grew up together in this very interesting world. Growing up as a child actor, you kind of always stay in the same group, whether you're really in the group or not. There's always kind of like this little actor world where you see each other out of auditions or you run into each other, and it's always like your mutuals. And then I remember my agent, I was talking to my agent one day about Chucky, and I was like, have they found the kids who are playing, like Jake and Junior and Devin? He's like, oh, they found Jake. It's gonna be this guy. And my agent's British. And he's like, it's gonna be somebody named Zachary Arthur. And I was like, oh, that sounds familiar. And it just, my mom and I looked at each other, we were screaming. It was so fun. And then I called Zach, and he was like, let's go do this. And we had the best time. And it was just made everything so much easier and so much less intimidating going into it with somebody that you're already so close with, especially with how much we had to work together.
Because of that.
It also must have made the dynamic of those characters all the more fun for you to play, knowing that you know them that well. Now you get to have this.
Once again, being mean to each other.
It was so
with someone that you feel so close to and you love.
And we were just really, really lucky with the group of kids that we had, because, teenagers can be scary. I mean, like teenagers can be mean, teenagers can be terrible. Definitely had my fair share of that being a teenager. And it just really was just, we were so lucky to have the best group of kids. And we all just had so much fun on set every day. And it did not feel like work. And we just had the best time.
And it was lucky for me that, I already love Marcy. We were already close. That's Zach's mother.
How could you not? She's the sweetest woman in the world. Yeah.
So just another interjection. We're renting this house that you see in the background right now. We're sort of transitioning into selling our house in Los Angeles, and their family kind of lives here with us. Like I say that, semi-living, they don't actually live.
Zach's brother.
Aiden's right in the back room right now. I thought that we should peek in and say hi. Zach and Marcy are actually on their way over right now.
Oh, that's awesome.
it's the kind of thing where we don't know who's going to be sleeping on the couch when we wake up in the morning, and it's just kind of an open door policy. And we've had such a great hiatus just with these kids kind of coming and going and second families, and we're so close with their family. It's really, really nice.
It's awesome.
Awesome. Yeah.
So Barbara, let me ask you how you got started as an actress.
Wow.
Broad strokes. No, you know,
Yeah.
where'd you grow up and how'd you fall into it?
I'm from Chicago, and if we want to go way back, I entered the Miss Illinois teen pageant, and one of the judges was an agent. Nobody in my business is in. Nobody in my business, nobody in my family is in the business. So I really, always knew in my mind, like we all do, that I wanted to be an actress, but I didn't really know how to go about it. So I entered this pageant, and one of the judges was an agent in Chicago. And, she approached me, said, I'd like to represent you, started auditioning for commercials or whatever was available in Chicago at the time, because it wasn't a big film city at the time. Started doing theater. My background is theater, majored in theater, did a lot of it in Chicago, and then moved out to Los Angeles and started working full time.
It's kind of a miracle when that happens. I come from no entertainment people family too, from Boston. And I mean, it's sort of a cliche that people tend to fall into the industries that they see their family members in, like firemen, beget more firemen, etc.
Yes.
And I'm also a big fan of, crime, murder porn, as it's called, or just crime TV, true crime TV. And you see so many stories about women moving to LA with the big dream and it going horribly awry. I moved to LA at 19 by myself and didn't know anybody, and I didn't even want to be an actor. I wanted to go to film school and be a director. I wasn't even trying to be an actor, but becoming an actor and working as an actor is just this side of actually impossible. It's so congratulations on doing it, because I think it's a much harder task than people even could possibly guess.
I don't think people realize how hard.
No, they don't. And then keeping the ball in the air. Once you've got the ball in the air, you got to keep it in the air, and that's almost impossible too.
Right. No, I thank my lucky stars every day that it happened, and on top of it, then giving birth to 3 girls who decide they want to do it. And God forbid 2 out of the 3 would be successful and one of them wouldn't. And knock on wood, they're all thriving, and just so completely grateful for that.
That's amazing. But I'm sure that's a great deal due to your support. Being in a family that knows how it's done and understands the risks that are inherent, and still being supportive is almost everything.
All 4 of us support each other.
Yeah.
It's such a roller coaster business, and there's the highest highs and the lowest lows. So having that constant support team who always knows what you're going through, always will be there to run lines with you, or, be the shoulder to cry on when you lose that one job that you really, really wanted. Just having that constant support is really just the thing that gets us through this roller coaster business.
Yeah. And as far as you girls, did you all start very, very young, or did you get?
I was 3.
Accidental, by the way, because we had decided maybe not to include her because it's just a lot.
Well, my oldest sister Natalie was held. She sort of
she got her first professional job when she was almost 5.
And then my middle sister Emily was 3. And then they were already, my mom and dad were like already on different sides of town, running around taking them to auditions when I was born. My mom was working full time, my dad was working full time, and when I was born, I was just like, are we really gonna do this? Like, I don't know, we don't have another car, we can't be in 3 places at once. So you guys kind of made the decision not to do it. And then, of course, when I was 3 years old, my sisters would have auditions. I told the story a million times, probably in every article that every interview I do, but my sisters would have auditions, and I'd just kind of be in the background walking around or listening to them running their lines. And then I'd just come into my turn and I just completely recite their lines.
She was crazy.
My mind would just my mind memorized.
She was meant to do it.
And then it just kind of worked out. I got my first job on The Young and the Restless when I was 3 years old. And I just recently had to leave that to go do Chucky. But yeah, I was on that for 11 years. So
Yeah, I was gonna say 10 years,
10 years,
11
yeah.
years. That's amazing. That's amazing. And you know, you received a lot of accolades for that work too, and you made a lot of fans. I've talked to a lot of people that were very familiar with your work. I didn't know there was such a crossover between daytime soaps and Chucky fans, but evidently there are.
It's
Oh my gosh.
crazy.
They both just, I feel like Young and the Restless fans and Chucky fans just both have this passion for TV and this passion for this kind of cult following. They have so much love and passion and support, and they are the best fans in the world because they will just always stick by you. Yeah, it's just been such an amazing world to be a part of, the Young and the Restless world, the family aspect of it, going to work and working with people. I will always have such an appreciation for soap actors because they do what we do in 6 months in one day.
Yeah.
It's them I hear over
Pages and pages
conversations
and
of them being like, yeah, I have to learn episode 10,450 in at lunch. Yeah, I have like this monologue I have to learn at lunch. It's like 30-minute lunch. Like their minds are crazy. They've trained their minds to just be able to take so much information. And that was the best training ground for me.
Yes.
The absolute best training ground for me. Look up to these people who are just so insanely talented, and learning all this material at such a young age, I feel like it trained my mind.
Yeah.
Yeah. Alex, you may not realize, like, you know, Alex and I talk about what a gift it is. So Dawn did 7 features in 30 something years. So it's like whatever, 11, 12 hours of story in 30 something years. And then in the series, he's telling 8 hours of story in 8 weeks. Yeah. Soap operas tell 5 hours of story in 5 days.
I know. And the process is very different. I was on As the World Turns when I was a kid. And I remember that the process was also very different. It was almost shot like a play. Like they go from like camera to camera, like almost in real time. That's what I remember it being when I was young, at least.
One take.
So yeah, the workload is crazy.
You know,
one take with inserts.
Yeah. Occasionally they'll go again, but rarely.
Yeah.
I mean, you're really expected to know it in one take. Yeah.
I did 2 episodes of General Hospital Night Shift, I think it was. And it was very disorienting because it's so completely different. And I was overwhelmed and felt really intimidated. So I have great respect for those people, that sort of style of acting.
Fast pace, everything.
Yeah.
So fast.
Yeah. And there's a freedom to that too, I imagine, when you kind of know that they're going to take whatever you give them, and you know, the pressure's on to be great immediately. But there's something, I think, sort of, they're not so precious about the words sometimes. They'll let you have the words if you're paraphrasing. If you got the story across, it's good enough. And I think that sort of can be free.
Get all the character names right, which is the hardest thing in a soap. Who am I related to?
Never know, especially with all the recast, because the storyline will be the same, but my 3-year-old brother will all of a sudden be 18.
Yeah,
but I'm still the same age.
Right.
Like it's always so confusing. It's like, oh, you're my new brother. Okay, nice to meet you. Nice to meet you.
Yeah. So one of our standard questions we like to ask people who are new to this, who have joined the cult, is do you have any favorite kills, any favorite Chucky kills in the
so hard.
Oh, I know mine.
Oh, of course it's gonna be.
Oh, Michael Terrio.
Of course.
Yeah.
I mean,
what a death.
Yeah.
What a death.
Yeah, it was great.
I was involved, and so maybe that has something to do with it. And I was up close and personal for this kill. But
yeah, the popcorn. Oh.
He did kill it. He killed it. Yeah, it was so good. And the sweet taste of the popcorn in my mouth. I wanted so badly to see the blood on my lips. So I just thought that would be so funny for Michelle to get really messed up and bloody, her face all bloody. And I kept saying to everyone, can you see the blood? Can you see the blood? I'm gonna take it. And I was trying to smear it on my face a little bit, but the look on Michael's face, and he was so worried, he wouldn't blink. He didn't want to blink. He didn't want to blink. And when you try not to blink, your eyes start to water. When you're really focused on not blinking, there's, nothing you can do about it. And he was concerned, but it just, I mean, after editing, it looked amazing.
I remember when Dawn told us, because Dawn told us about that death way in the beginning. He was like, this is gonna be like a crazy death. He told my mom, I think probably before we started filming, about this death, and we just both started screaming like, oh my gosh, this is so amazing. She ate like the popcorn. Yeah,
so
that
good.
one. And I also think that Bree's death
Oh yeah,
is
Absolutely.
just
that's
so
probably the best of the series.
insanely just so amazing. I remember going to set that day just to watch them do it. I wasn't working that day, but I went to set to watch them do it. She was on this green screen on this big like pulley system where she was just in the air, like just against a green screen falling. And it was just, it's so amazing and it's so emotional and such a turn. I mean, you never expect it. I mean, this woman, you find out that she has an illness and then she's got, it's just,
Yeah, it was crazy.
so crazy.
I agree with that completely. Not only do I think it was the best kill of the first season, I think it was the best one of the whole franchise.
Oh, okay.
I think it was just shot phenomenally well. Everything that you said is exactly what I think. And
All the glass in her face. Ugh.
yeah, it was just beautiful.
And the fact that she's such a sympathetic character. So many people that Chucky kills, you kind of are gleeful about the death because the person's earned it. Not the case with her at all. And we spoke to her on this podcast, and she said that in her inner sort of dialogue was that she had decided to seek treatment and get treatment for her breast cancer right before Chucky kills her. So she'd been like saying, no, I won't get treatment. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. And the minute she decides to live, Chucky kills her. And then every stage of that, falling out the thing, and then the hospital cart hitting the ground first. And it's just, it's like
And Teo's reaction, the fact that her son
Oh God, yeah.
My favorite thing about that scene is Teo's scream is the same pitch as the song. Because in the song there's a scream, but they replaced the scream with Teo's scream.
Oh, interesting.
It's like the perfect pitch. It was,
that's cool.
Everything about it.
I want to watch it.
Everything about it was just so perfect. It just shows.
That's awesome. That's awesome, Allie. I didn't know that. I did take note of that scream though. I asked him about it on the show because I didn't know, I figured they did it in ADR, but it was such a perfect scream. I mean, like it really was perfect. I didn't know that it replaced the scream in the song. That's awesome.
It's so easy for a woman to scream. That's our register. To ask a guy to scream sometimes is like, you don't know how it's going to come out. Like, it's not that high shrill, it's like, like this. Men sometimes feel comfortable when they see, oh, I have to scream. Are you capable of screaming? Let's hear it.
it's really hard. I hate when
I'm in a hotel, so I can't do that right now.
That was a big thing, the screams. I mean, I remember in that scene where my bedroom lights on fire, that was just such a scream day. I mean, I had to scream so much. My voice by the end of that day was just dead. Luckily, we did that on Friday, so I had the weekend recovered. But there's just like a million.
Yeah.
And then at the end, the initial scream.
Yeah, and let's not forget to mention that, Barbara, your screams were phenomenally great in that scene.
Best horror movie scream.
Really?
Horror movie scream.
You're gonna get the Scream Queen title real fast if you keep screaming like that, because that was really phenomenal.
I have some training from my younger years in Roger Corman movies, so just
I find screaming terrifying. Allie, did you recognize that scene that in your bedroom with Chucky attacking you? Did you recognize that from Child's Play 2?
Oh yeah,
yes,
yeah.
Yes. I talked to her about that.
There's so many like direct homages from Child's Play 2 to the show. And I keep thinking I'm cleverly finding one he didn't do on purpose, but never. Every single thing. Even the Andy on your car, Alex, when you leave me at the gas station, is mimicking me at the orphanage when you're locked in it's Andy. It's like it's
I think that's why a lot of my film nerd friends my age are in love with Chucky. I have a very good friend. His name is Thomas Decker. He's a very successful actor. Anyway, he thinks or believes that this is the best show that has been on TV for the past 10 years. It's his favorite show of all time.
He's so kind. He's so kind. I've been talking to him on Instagram too.
Oh, you have?
Yeah,
Oh, he
he's
loves
really
you. That's
sweet,
right.
yeah.
He loves both you guys so much.
The second that he saw that you were in the show, he called us screaming. He was like, "I'm such a big fan. I've been watching him since I was so young."
And he's such a talented actor. And I feel so honored when he loves something that we're in, because he's super
He's a
critical.
writer.
But
he just, like,
I'll tell you, he
understands it.
picks out every single homage. He loves Don. I mean, I had to introduce them and they just didn't stop talking, but he just, all of those eggs, those Easter eggs, I mean, he just gets all of them. And he thinks it's the smartest show that's been on for ages. Oh, who just walked behind you there?
My friend William. He's been my,
Oh, who's
my
that?
friend since
Yeah,
high
he should be on the
school.
show.
I've known him since I was 17 years old, and he's here helping me do some like repairs on my house.
Hi.
William.
We agree entirely about that, about what Thomas said about the show and why, and just how brilliant and how meticulous the homages are, just everything, the way he did everything. It's one of the biggest reasons why I wanted to do this podcast, and why Christine wanted to, is to talk about all these things. There's so many little things that, I think most fans will not catch.
You don't need to catch them to enjoy the
That's-
show.
Oh, not at all. No, not at all. But but it's the beauty
like
of it.
both sides.
That's what I remember when the show was first coming out. A lot of my friends that were watching were like, "Well, I haven't seen the other Chucky movies," and I was like, "You don't have to, because it really is its own entity, but there's so much in there for the diehard fans that it just works so well for both teams. Everybody just loves it, no matter how familiar they are with the world."
Speaking of that, Allie, how familiar were you with the Chucky films when you first read the script? Did you see any of them at all?
You cannot be in my family unless you are a huge horror fanatic. I mean, there's not one horror movie that our family hasn't seen.
Okay.
So I mean, I wasn't super. I hadn't seen them in a while. So during quarantine, we had to do the 2-week Canada quarantine. So during quarantine, we rewatched all of them. But I was definitely familiar when I got the script. I was reading it. I was like, "Oh my, this is just so fun. I love it. It's such an iconic series. And it's just really cool to be working with this doll that's just been around for so long and is so iconic, and so many people love it. And it was just really, really great experience, especially for somebody who loves horror as much as I do.
Yeah,
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, Chucky's got a seat on the same tier with, Dracula and Frankenstein. It's that level of a superstar in the horror world,
Definitely. It's so crazy that I'm getting to work. Sometimes when it's just such a interesting thing, because I mean, I've never worked with, dolls or puppeteers or anything. So just getting to be on set with him every day and seeing the magic behind it was amazing. And these puppeteers are just so incredibly, they're just genius. They're geniuses. And it's just such an honor to get to see them working and making this doll completely come to life. It's so creepy. It's so scary.
And they're all so nice. It's so funny that the puppeteers themselves are all so sweet, and that Don Mancini is as sweet as he is, and still out of that same brain comes these deaths.
Exactly.
They're
Yes.
sick human beings, but they're the sweetest people we ever
Over
meet.
the years, we've gotten to know a lot of horror producers and directors, and that's sort of the way it is. Very normal people, very sweet, normal people who you would never suspect. We met the producers from Saw,
Yeah.
which is really
They're
out
brutal.
there. Normal people. We went to a baby shower at the producer of Saw's house, like, okay, expecting to meet this kind of, and the nicest, sweetest guy, a dad having a baby, it's just, it's crazy. And nobody's sweeter than Don. Where did these images come from in his mind? Who knows? But
It's just like, it's counterintuitive that the world would be as sweet as it is.
Yeah.
Well, like one of my really good friends says, killing is good, clean fun for the whole family.
That's right.
Allie, I was just going to talk a little bit more about your character, Lexy, because I have to say, I loved all of you guys, and I loved all of the characters, but I think Lexi's my favorite character, my favorite new character from the show. I mean, not also, but you just did such a fantastic job. The character itself she's so complex. We see this kind of evolution of, I wouldn't say maturity. She's still got a lot to learn, I think.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
luckily she's still around to learn it. But there was a big arc to the character, and it started off really with the fan base just hating her so much. I mean,
Oh,
especially after episode 2, what happened at the end of there. And I'm curious, I mean, obviously you're very used to fan attention for a long time, but
yeah, but not
what
that.
was that like?
attention.
What was that like? Yeah.
I think that there's a certain amount of hate and sort of just scary people who will always be there to knock you down. But I think that there was definitely a lot more on this show. I mean, for good reason, obviously, I am a bully. But the second that my character started being nicer, it all changed to, okay, I like you now, but I hate your mom.
I took over.
She took over all of
The
it
hate.
for me.
Yeah.
Because I mean, as the story goes on, you start seeing, why Lexy is the way
Why,
she is,
yeah.
and who she
And it-
is, and her background, and the reason for all of her,
Shortcomings.
yeah, all of the things all the pain she causes Jake. And then they're like, okay, you're fine, but your mom, she's terrible, and we will never like her. And then, I mean, I feel like even Michelle Michelle is one of my favorite characters in the show, because I think that I think that you did such an amazing job with loving to hate her, because it's so easy. That's like the scariest thing with playing a bully, is because you want people to hate you and you want people to despise you and, want you to be killed by Chucky, but you don't want it too much. You want them to love to hate you. So that's
It's just finding the comedy, which is so easy to do in Dawn's shows. And that's one of the reasons that we love the Scream franchise, because it's scary, but it's also funny. And that's what we always say to Dawn, like, thank you so much. And I asked him for the freedom to find some funny in Michelle. It's written that way, but let's find even more so that people don't just hate her.
Yeah.
She's a goofball and you almost feel sorry for her. And I think you found some of that in Lexy
Yeah.
too. Just, there are some really funny comedic beats that.
She's hysterical. Lexi's
It was
hysterical.
so fun to play.
She's mean, but she's so funny. I mean, the things she says are so great.
She's witty.
You want to hug me? What am I, your mom? Or whatever you said. Like, there's just so many lines. We just watched that episode too. But
Yeah,
you have so many lines that are just really, really funny.
Yeah, it was a really interesting character to get into, because from the beginning, from my first meeting with Dawn, he told me, like, this is what Lexi's character arc is. This is how you are at the beginning. This is how we want audience to feel at the end, and told me the whole thing. And that was really important to me, that she had a little bit of an arc, because it's hard to just play one-dimensional character. You never want that. And I don't think that there is one character in Dawn's franchise that is one-dimensional. Everybody has an arc or a backstory, and nobody's boring, and everybody has a story. There's a reason for everything. And Dawn just really sold me on Lexi's arc and the heart in it. And it was difficult to get into, very intimidating, having to know at the beginning of the show that I have to start here, so I have somewhere to go with it, and I have to be super, super mean so I can get a little bit less mean, and then a little bit less mean, and then a little bit less mean, but still have that kind
Edge,
of bitchy
yeah.
undertone where, like, I'm still, I can still snap back at somebody. So finding that mix was very interesting.
I think you thread that line beautifully. So.
Yeah, you thread that needle really well. I agree. And I have to say, though, just because having played sort of a controversial character in the old Beverly Hills 90210, and I got a lot of grief for her when there was no social media, and even like you had to hunt down the stuff that people said about you, and of course I did, even though it was not fun to read it. But on that show, there were the main girls in the show. They were all sort of bitchy, I think. I watched the show and every single girl in the show is really kind of mean. They're all, but they were forgiven for it, and they were loved because they had nuance. And so I'm happy that both of your characters have those layers that give you not just something to do, but give.
I mean, social media is just such a scary place these days, because anything can be said about you, and it can be pushed into your face, and it's a click of a button, and nobody has to say it to your face.
And it's such an
all behind
easily
a screen.
passive aggressive way for people to show their anger toward people. You know,
It's just all so
a safe way for them to throw insults at us, you know.
and
but-
it's kind of a part of the job description of kind of just taking it. And of course, as a 14-year-old girl, you're kind of want to kind of see what people are saying about you, and you always want that security of like wanting people to like you and wanting to be like popular, whatever it is that's just wired into a 14-year-old girl's brain. You kind of have to throw that away.
It doesn't go away, by the way.
Yeah,
Oh, no.
It doesn't go away.
I was gonna say, as a 40-year-old man, I kind of feel the same way.
Yeah, I mean, it's of course it's always like oh no, just don't read it. Like you're fine, just don't read it. It's like, well, like I have 99 plus DMs of people that are just all criticizing
kinda curious.
everything, and I'm just
Yeah.
kind of curious. And then I go into it, I'm like, oh God, okay.
Yeah. I shouldn't have done that.
this.
Yeah.
But most of them are hating your character, not you.
That's the
But
thing,
There's
that's
just that fine line
there's
that
a fine line
sometimes
of-
people can't figure out.
People can't figure out that I am playing a character, which is sometimes really funny.
And the more they hate you, the more it's really a compliment.
It's a compliment.
'cause
Yeah.
it's whatever I'm doing, it's working. So
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we're both very, very excited for season 2. I certainly hope personally that Andy and Lexy get to cross paths. So we'll see what
I want
happens.
it so badly. I want it so badly. It's so much fun.
We'll see what happens.
I got to cross paths with Christine in the first season, so you
Yeah.
gotta get Andy in there.
Yeah.
I agree. We'll see what's to come.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys. It's been so nice talking to you, giving us your day. I appreciate it. Alex does too, I know.
Fun.
Yeah. I sure do. But we'll see it pretty soon. It's actually right around the corner now. So
Yeah. Can't wait, counting down the days.
Yeah.
Oh, I
All right.
see a little creature crawling around back there.
Hayden, come here. This is Hayden.
Oh, hi. Oh,
She's mine. I'm babysitting for someone. This is Mr. Winston.
oh,
Okay.
hi, baby.
Oh.
I knew it. I said, why aren't we having our dogs in our lap? She's running. Hold on, you can't leave.
Another one hiding over here.
Now we're showing pets.
Yeah.
If-
my-
too
I have a
bad I'm
third
not-
one over there.
If I were home, I'd
So
be
bad
grabbing them.
because I originally had my leopard shirt on that's almost identical to what you're wearing, and I wish I had kept it on. That would have been so cute. Here we
Okay.
go. Here we go.
They're really scruffy right now. They need a bath, but this is Rocky.
Aw.
This is Rocky Lulind,
Oh, cutie pie.
and then this is Georgie. We're big
Both
dog
adorable.
lovers.
Me too. My kids are all rescues, and I did a lot of fostering, dog fostering. Like 15 dogs I fostered. So
I don't know how you do that, and then you say goodbye.
I could never.
Yeah, that's
so hard.
yeah, the thing is, my perspective is that it's easier to cry when they find a great home than to cry because they perished in the pound.
I
know.
know.
that's true.
So
Yeah.
someone's got to do it. It's a dirty job, but someone's got to do it. So.
Foster a bunch of kids. That's what I want to do. I want to foster, let's foster a bunch of dogs, just a bunch of like 20, 30, 40 dogs.
I always think about it when we're on location fostering a dog.
Yeah.
Just like have like a little pet around. But then I'm like, well, I'm gonna be on set all day. I don't want to leave them. But it's always like kind of like a rented dog.
It's so nice to come home to your puppy.
It is.
Handlers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you guys so
Wow.
much.
Thanks so much.
Can't wait to see you.
See you soon.
Right.
Bye.
That was super fun. I hope you enjoyed that. They are really great. Really looking forward to seeing them. Since we've last seen you on this show, they made an announcement that both of us are returning to season 2.
Yeah.
So
Very
that's
exciting.
pretty
Very
exciting. That's pretty exciting. I know that, that means to a lot of fans, oh, so Kyle's alive. Well, you never know. With the Chucky universe, you never know how things play out. Stay open-minded, you never know.
Yep, exactly.
Speaking of the show, this just came out too. You got a copy yourself, right?
Not yet.
No,
I will.
I got a couple of them. I ordered them myself. You'd think they send you one, but they didn't.
I do not.
They did not. But I got one myself, and I have not put it in yet. There's bonus features, the Legacy of Chucky, which is that we saw that was that thing they put out, and it says deleted scenes. So I'm excited to watch those.
Yeah.
I haven't seen any deleted scenes. I don't know what else is on here as far as bonus content, but I'm excited about it. And while we're talking about it, sure, do a little promo. Go out and get it for yourself.
Yeah.
Because if you guys are here, that means you watched it all, I hope. Otherwise, we've spoiled it all for you.
Well, they're gonna have time to watch it now because they're not gonna have anything to do on Tuesday nights for the next couple of weeks.
Next couple of weeks, we're going to be off. Like I said, I'm traveling for some concerts. I've got a lot of things going on. Christine's busy too. And we're kind of at the halfway point. So we have to take a couple of weeks off. We will be back on May 17th. Oh, which is his birthday. I just realized. I'm sorry, I'm wearing a shirt. I got to mention it. But yeah, we will be back on May 17th for the second half of episode 5, where we will break down episode 5, the return of Tiffany and Nika.
Yeah.
Very excited. Episode 5, one of my favorites of the season. Really excited to talk about it. That was the return of those two characters, and I think the intro of like 27-year-old Charles Lee Ray.
Yeah.
Which was just the coolest.
It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to getting back to that episode and watching it in depth. I haven't watched it since then, I don't think so. That'll be a lot of fun.
Yep.
And then you and I will be right after that, by the way, May 22nd, 23rd. You, me, and Fiona, I believe, will be at Crypticon in Seattle.
Cool. Yeah.
I did that show like 10 years ago. I haven't been out there since. So that should be a lot of fun. Really excited to get back out to Seattle.
It's nice to do a show in my time zone too.
Yeah. For me, it's a bit of a hike. It's on the exact opposite corner of this country for me.
I did that hike for all the shows, so welcome to it.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys so much for sticking with us, and I hope you enjoyed the interview today. We will see you in a couple weeks. Have fun, enjoy yourselves. We'd usually say see you next Tuesday, but we'll see you next Tuesday. Thanks.
Yes.
Guys. Yes.
Okay.
Thanks so much. Bye.
You thought?